This is Crimson60620. Thank you for watching my video. Also, you can catch me on these social media platforms. And if you want to see some great art, hit my DeviantArt art page up. And finally, support my Patreon. Thanks. What's up, YouTube? This is me, Crimson60620, doing a little bit more of a commentary video. I know I gotta start doing them a little bit better, more live, but right now, my fucking restream, the shit is up, and basically I'm gonna probably be streaming some gaming, but just not this way. And besides, this is the video that I kind of want to have up. I'm gonna drop this, and hopefully this won't be a long video. So the other day at work, I came across this article. Quite literally, sit at work between calls if I'm not doing art, if I'm not trying to watch a video on my phone, because there are certain shit that I know I watch on my phone that would get me motherfucking fired. And it's not for no perverted shit or anything like that, you know, no shaming here, but if I'm watching shit talking about, you know, how capitalism sucks and your employer is just like shit, I don't think they will want me to watch that on their motherfucking corporate dime. But anyway, I came across this, and it was on the Microsoft Edge homepage, and this is done by Business Insider, and it just talks about cruise ships. 17-hour days, 7 days a week, cruise ship workers describe the grueling conditions that they face on the job. Now, just a little heads up about this article. Probably won't read through the whole exact article, because there's just some shit in here that I just feel that people should really know. Coming from the customer service industry myself, it's actually pretty I'm sensitive to these things, sensitive to these reports, because I like to share this. You ever notice that you don't have a waiter anymore? You have a server, because it sounds close to service. I can almost guarantee, and it's probably apocryphal, but I can always guarantee somebody came up in the boardroom to make people feel good about spending their money because they have a server now. Ooh. But customer service people, in a lot of ways, get treated like shit. And, you know, to be honest with you, I stand with these motherfuckers. Because in the end, that's a person on the other end of the phone. That's a person that's taking your order. That's a person that cleans up after your shit. They're customer service workers. And just because they have a job that may be providing you a service, don't mean that they're a servant. And I think a lot of people forget this. And of course, companies, if they put people in a place where they are seen as, well, they're just the help, it lets them get away with shit like this. So the cruise industry is a lucrative business for major companies. Their success comes at the cost of their workers. Now, just going over, this is made by Ruben Sue. I butchered this man's name. So, Business Insider spoke with 45 current and former cruise ship employees whose tenure spanned from 1997 to the present day. Some describe grueling hours, low pay, and strict hierarchy that influence where they eat, where they sleep, and the number of months they take off number of months they work without a day off. The employees Business Insider spoke with reported working an average of about 11 hours per day, 7 days a week, for an average of around 6 consecutive months. Of the 39 current and former employees, former cruise ship workers who told Business Insider their monthly earnings, 18 said they at one point made less than $2,000 a month. Damn, that's fucking less than minimum wage at the hours that they work, the days that they work. Cruise lines are able to treat their workers in ways that might make land-based businesses in the U.S. fearful of lawsuits or regulatory scrutiny by incorporating their businesses and registering their ships in countries that have lenient labor laws. Jim Walker, a Marine lawyer for Walker and O'Neill, said. What's more, it's difficult for many cruise ship employees to raise concerns about the working conditions because the cruise lines can simply decline to hire them again after their contract expires. I do that thing where I fill in words of what I expect to be. The Clemson Associate Professor William Terry said, the cruise industry is proud to report that thousands of employee crew members are satisfied with their current jobs and opportunities for career advancement. A representative for the Cruise Line International Association said, in fact, that employee retention rates in the cruise industry are upwards of 80%. So this is just like some of the points and some of the hits that covers in this article. Now here's the thing. Let's just tackle the first thing. A lot of people, or the last thing, a lot of people won't, quote unquote, bite the hand that feeds them because that's the only thing that they have to motherfucking make sure that they can survive. Now, let's just go through the article. The article starts with this story, this anecdote. On the morning in July of 2018, guest service employees for Norwegian Cruise Lines heard a knock on the door. She opened it to find the U.S. Customs and Border Protection officials, a Norwegian Cruise Line security employee, and a drug-sniffing dog. The guest service employees, who is from Jamaica and worked for Norwegian from 2013 to November to 2018, asked if they were conducting an inspection, but they didn't respond. Instead, they told her to step out of her cabin before searching her phone and other belongings for the next 30 minutes. They interrogated her, asking her if she had over $10,000 in her cabinet and if anything in her room belonged to her. She was humiliated and developed a headache that lasted until the next day. I was traumatized, she said. I couldn't sleep for 3 days and I was depressed. When the officials were finished searching her room, one told her that she was flagged for the agency being flagged to the agency by her ship's head of security because of a conversation she had had with him a few weeks prior. During the conversation, she asked the head of security for permission to buy a can of condensed milk once they stopped in Cotamuzo. I don't know what that city name is. Mexico. So she could bring it on the ship with her. He said she could not, and she said she cannot, and she said that she understood. The Customs and Border officer said that he was told that she asked the head of security to buy powdered milk, not condensed milk. Now, I want to make a note of this is a young lady from Jamaica, but let's go. So, she had followed Norwegian's rules and they had responded by alerting law enforcement. The experience had led her to leave the company 4 months later. During the time with Norwegian, she made $1,600 per month and worked 70 hours a week. And she felt that she was discriminated for being black. Working on a cruise line, you have to be mentally prepared to be there. If you are not a strong person, you will not survive, she said. Norwegian's cruise lines did not respond to multiple requests for comments. So I'm gonna actually bring up my calculator. Where is it at? Yeah. All right, so watch this. She made $1,600 fucking dollars a month and worked 70 hours a week. So let's bring up the calculator. How many weeks in the month? We're gonna go with the simple 4. So watch this. She worked 16. She had $1,600. Divide that by 4. Not bad. $400 a week. If you're babysitting, but remember, she worked 70 hours a week. That's how much she was getting paid. That's lower than the U.S. federal minimum wage. That's how much she was getting paid an hour. Working 70 hours a week. Now, I'm not starting this story to like make people feel guilty for wanting to go on cruise. Like, fuck. I personally wouldn't want to go on cruises because the last time the last very memorable time, the people with my skin affliction actually went on boats, it didn't turn out well. But this isn't a unique story. This is crew cabins. Now, let's go over some great capitalist information. The cruise industry is a lucrative business for its major companies and their shareholders. In 2018, Carnival Corp, which owns 9 cruise liners, earned $3.2 billion in profits. Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, which owns 6 cruise lines, and Norwegian Cruise Lines Holdings, which owns 3 cruise lines, made $1.8 billion in 954.8 billion dollars respectively. And these are fucking profits. Not just regular. These are fucking profits. Together, the 3 companies accounted for 72.2% of the cruise industry's revenue and 79% of its passengers in 2018. They made nearly $2 billion in combined profits during the first half of this year alone, 2019. Their success comes at steep cost to their workers. Business Insider spoke with 45 current and former cruise ship employees whose tenure spanned from 1997 to the present day. Some described grueling hours, low pay, and a strict hierarchy that influence where they eat, where they sleep, and the number of months they work without the day off. What I said in my opening. Most request anonymity for fear of reprisal from their current or former employees. Now, people that work on land-based hotels and shit, they have to deal with shit, but they can always walk away. These motherfuckers own ships. So, with few exceptions, even well-paid cruise ship employees are subject to work schedules that rival those of notorious time-sensitive workplaces like investment banks and restaurants and kitchens. Instead of traditional 5-day weeks, cruise ship employees often work 7 days a week for the duration of their contract, which can range from about 3 to 10 months. About 6 months was the most common contract length cited by those who spoke with Business Insider. The hours can be intense, ranging from 7 to 18 hours a day. The employees Business Insider spoke with reported a working average of about 11 days. This isn't the 11 hours per day. This isn't the fucking Love Boat. You are not. This is not Isaac in the bar or the doctor. No, this shit is ruining people. Now, the cruise ship workers are subject to strict hierarchy that determines their pay, living conditions, and contracts. At the top of the hierarchy are officers, managers, and those responsible for navigation. In the middle are staff members, which include workers in entertainment, retail, and guest services. And at the bottom are crew members, who are generally responsible for serving guests. They include servers, bartenders, and cleaning staff. And this is the hierarchy of how everything works, and not only just money but power as well. So let's continue. The crew and lower pay staff members are described Crew and lower pay staff members describe more difficult working conditions than officers, and many reported monthly earnings of $2,000 or less. Of the 39 current and former cruise ship workers who told Business Insider their monthly pay or their monthly earnings, 18 said they at one point made $2,000 or less per month. Those are slave laborers, hence why I don't want to be on a boat. It's not uncommon, as Carnival and Royal Caribbean reported median annual earnings of less than $20,000 in 2018, while Norwegian reported median earnings just above $2,000. Those figures are slightly lower than the earnings of a median worker in the U.S. who made $32,838 last year, according to the Social Security Administration estimate, and they're minuscule compared with the compensation received by each company's chief executive. Norwegian CEO Frank Delario made $22.6 million last year, while Carnival's CEO Arnold Donald, that's gotta be the stupidest fucking name to name your child, Arnold Donald, made $13.5 million, and Royal Caribbean's Richard Fain made $12.4 million. You have people working on your ship living in fucking poverty, below the poverty level, all because, or slightly above, all because you want to motherfucking make tens of millions of dollars in compensation. These motherfuckers are actually, and I'm gonna get to motherfucking Frank Delario. I'm gonna get to his ass. This is gonna, oh yeah, we're gonna get to his ass. The cruise ship workers Business Insider spoke with reported the highest monthly earnings, which fell between $5,000 and $10,000, tend to be from the U.S. or Canada's, who reportedly earned it. Those who reported earnings of $2,000 or less tend to be from South America, Eastern Europe, or Southern Asia. So we're just gonna go through this. So what they're doing is taking advantage of, I guess you wouldn't call them immigrants because they're technically living on a ship, but they're creating a fucking slave class on this ship where people are just like, come on now, like, you're breaking your workers in order to make your profits. And remember, they were making profits in the billions, but they can't pay their workers. And I know cruise ship pricings are fucking astronomical. All this money is being funneled to the boards and the stockholders instead of making it where people can live or fucking afford cruises. But let's continue. A 2005 study from the Seafarers International Research Center found that 70% of cruise ship workers are from regions that didn't have what the International Monetary Fund calls advanced economies, like Latin America, Eastern Europe, in parts of Asia, while 30% of the workers came from regions with advanced economies like the US, Western Europe. Workers from the advanced economies were much more to be officers than workers from the non-advanced economies, the study finds. So in other words, what they're doing is this the same thing you see in hotels or resorts that's on the mainland. They get people that they know that won't complain, not because they are happy and go lucky and like to work there, but because they want to put the screws to them and say, well, you complain, you lose your job, and if you lose your job, you don't have a way of taking care of yourself. But let's go. William Terry, an associate professor at Clemson University who has studied the recruitment of cruise ship employees, came to a similar conclusion after talking to hundreds of cruise ship workers in 2007 and 2008. For many people looking to get ahead, there's a reality that they're probably going to be locked out of certain positions simply because where they came from, he said. The cruise industry labor force is a product of the global economic inequalities, Terry said. Workers from countries without advanced economies told him that they would have taken a cruise ship job. They wouldn't have taken a cruise ship job if they could have found work at home that paid even close to as well. So they're taking advantage of desperate people. Now, let's look at the annual profits. In 2009, all of these companies, they were at the low end of making profits. Now look at them. They're skyrocketing and they're making their money off the backs of their workers. A representative for the Cruise Lines International Association, CLIA, a trade association whose members include Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian, told Business Insider that some member lines have engaged in partnerships with training institutions in developing nations to increase their numbers in leadership positions. And it sounds as if, and we're going to get into it, it sounds as if they're saying, hey, with your shitty economies, your shitty advancement in technology, or just your poor country, come on. Like my name is the devil and you're Faust. Come on, sell your soul. Work on this ship for a few months without knowing some of the shit that they would have to put up with in order to be able to take care of themselves. Now, the representative added that cruise lines invest heavily to attract the best people, offering an extremely competitive packages of wages and benefits, as well as ensuring crew members have the training to perform jobs skillfully and advance on a rewarding career path. That sounds like standard corporate bullshit to say if they can't cut it from all the shit we're asking, it's their fault. We recognize all industries have a small number of unsatisfied employees. However, the cruise industry is proud to report that thousands of employee crew members are satisfied with their current jobs and opportunities for career advancement. The representative said, in fact, that the employee retention rate for the cruise industry are upwards of 80%. Now, I wonder why. They're not going to complain when you think you're going to lose your job and go back to abject poverty. They're not going to fucking complain. Not everybody is like, somebody like me, where I say, fucking treat me better. Not everybody's going to do that. I work in a place where people are pissed. It's a tinderbox, a powder keg, where if the wrong thing goes the wrong way, people are going to actually still like. We actually had a manager fire at my job where people start getting up and just like, no, I'm going to this company, and yeah, partially because of the money, also because they wasn't getting paid enough for this shit. So what companies do, they find desperate people and they say, oh great, we choose you, not mentioning the people that they burnt out over here, but we choose you because you're a hard worker, you're this, and all they're doing are throwing bodies on the flame. Now, officers get favorable. Wow. I would have said officers would have get preferential treatment, but officers get favorable treatment, workers say. Ada Calhoun, who is from Brazil and was a human resource manager for MSC Cruises, Viking Cruises, and Holland American Line from 2015 until February, said there was a large gap between monthly pay for the highest and lowest ranking employees. Gallery workers who were responsible for tasks relating to cleaning and waste disposal of the ship's kitchen could make less than $800 a month. Oh my God. I can't live with an $800 paycheck for fucking 2 weeks and still get fucking commission. While captains can make about $15,000 a month. It's not fair that someone will work 11 hours a day dealing with garbage and only get $700. Cajalvo said that she was fired from Holland America in February after an employee told her about the allegation that the captain was covering up an unprofessional behavior from subordinates. Caliono, I can't pronounce his woman's name, intended to investigate the allegations to determine if it had been merited. But before she could do so, her supervisor, a human resource manager from Holland American's corporate office, told the captain about the planned investigation, which is actually illegal in the U.S. The supervisor then accused her of creating false timesheets and having poor English skills and fired her, she said. That sounds retaliatory. And yeah. Captains, they hate my position on board because we are the only ones that can stop them doing stupid things. The captains really believe that they're the owners of the ship, so it is impossible to fight that. Holland American Lines did not respond to multiple requests from the comments. A former photographer for Royal Caribbean, who is from Colombia, says she felt as if officers treated each other with more respect than the workers that they supervised. The former Royal Caribbean photographer who worked for the cruise line from 2016 until June of 2018 said that one of her managers would comment on her sexual orientation and tell her he didn't like that she wore the same hairstyle every day. God, this is disgusting. When it comes to an officer and a manager, they treat each other with respect. But if you're not a manager or an officer, they just see you as slaves. Disgusting. And these are people who are taking care of your fucking customers, but you treat them like shit. Royal Caribbean did not comment on the specificities of the former photographer's account, but a representative for the company said that it has a zero tolerance for any form of discrimination or retaliation, and our employees are encouraged to report such conduct to management on the ships or management in our headquarters. That sounds nice, but yeah, we all see what with certain administrations feel about whistleblowers. Oh no, zero tolerance policy. But yeah, you make our friends look bad and fuck you. The crew and lower paid staff members were not the only ones who said there were differences in how officers and crew members are being treated. No shit. Just FYI, if I had to have that shirt on, I would personally, yeah, I would either cuss out somebody, because as much as helpful as I am, or yeah, we would have an issue. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say, because I'm not going to do that stupid shit about in Minecraft. Anyway, A former food and beverage manager who is from Britain and worked for Carnival subsidiary Princess Cruises between 2011 and 2013 was surprised by the working conditions of employees from developing countries like the Philippines, India, and Mexico, including their daily schedules, the length of their contracts, and the fact that they're not allowed on the ship's upper level. Know your place. Surf. And yeah, I understand the motherfucking the pun, but no pun intended. Being an officer, I had it quite good. I was shocked by the way the other employees were treated, he said. Before they can serve passengers, some crew members and cleaning staff serve the ship's employees during their training period. The former assistant food and beverage manager said he noticed that some staff members and officers would have crew members who were in training on personal errands for them, like picking up their food, laundry, and alcohol. They're almost like slaves who lives on these minuscule tips by officers. He said it feels really colonial. So, you get the people who were from Western countries, wow, treating people like from the Philippines, India, and Mexico like they're fucking slaves, and it's kind of colonial. That says something, especially from somebody who's British. Now, we're gonna kind of get to this, and this is what I was promised you in before, and then I'm gonna actually end this video. It's getting pretty long, so let's do this. It's almost a representative for Carnival Corp, which owns Princess Cruises, said Princess Cruises Company culture has led over 10,000 employees to spend more than a decade working for the cruise line. Like other companies, Princess Cruises gives different benefits to employees based on their rank, not their home countries, and their representative added. Now, this motherfucker right here. Oh, I'm sorry, it was Arnold Donald. Yeah. Fuck you and your rhyming names. A disconnect between a CEO and his employees. Carnival Corp CEO Donald said that in a February interview with Business Insider that he didn't believe crew members were treated with less respect than staff members and officers, saying that working conditions on Carnival ships are excellent. If crew members were subject to worse treatment, their displeasure would become clear to passengers, he said. When asked if some crew members might feel pressure to pretend that they're happy because they couldn't afford to lose their job, Donald said it will be impossible to sustain for the length of the contract. People can't fake that long. You can't do it. A rare person could, but most people just can't fake that long, he said. To say everybody's happy all the time would be Pollinash? Of course, I do not know that word, and I'm fucking tired. Of course not. But overall, our crew is dedicated to exceeding guest expectations and love what they're doing. Donald's assertion differs from a restaurant hostess who worked for Carnival from 2018 until June, described her experience to Business Insider. The hostess, who was from Colombia, said she worked 7 days per week while making around $1,000 per month. She said her job required her to always appear happy to guests, which sometimes she felt exhausted. Last Christmas, she became homesick and retreated into a pantry and started crying. Her boss found her and asked her why she wasn't smiling. That's fucking capitalism for you guys. When I read this article at first, it kind of fucking disgusted me. And I'll tell you why it disgusted me, because this shit is... No, we don't fucking treat people like this anymore. And God damn it, man. People who serve you are fucking people. Stop with this bullshit that you think you're better than somebody because of the fucking place that you come from or the fact that they're doing the job. I tell you what. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about how garbage men are fucking assassins. Bankers, CEOs, they're not. Those are bullshit jobs. These people deserve your fucking respect. These people deserve more fucking pay. And we all need to fucking stand together and make sure that if somebody's working a job, they're fucking happy. They don't get called out for going in the fucking pantry and crying and being told, why aren't you smiling? I'm done, guys. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, share. And remember, tip your service.